Hi everyone and welcome to Psyched with Setmire. Today we're going to look a little bit at how stress affects the body. So we'll define stress and stressors, and then we'll look at the different systems that are activated and what they do to cause us to feel that physical sensation that happens when we are stressed out. So first off, what is stress? Something that I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. Most of us deal with stress on an everyday basis. Stress is a state of psychological tension or strain. It's also the process by which we perceive and respond to certain events called stressors. And so stress can literally be a physical feeling. It's also a psychological feeling that we have. But interestingly, most interesting of all, stress tends to arise more from how we appraise an event than the actual event itself, which is why two people can experience the exact same stimulus and respond to it very, very differently. And anything can stress us out. A stressor is any environmental demand that creates a state of tension or threat or strain, and it's going to require some kind of change or adaptation. Now, most things that are kind of common stressors are change, everyday hassles, big events, and we can also create our own stress, which can be self-imposed. But again, literally stress can be anything from an exam to traffic to timing to technology. It can be pretty much anything. Now, when we're stressed out, an area in the brain called the hypothalamus kind of kicks into action. And the hypothalamus, which you can see on the picture on the page here, regulates our body homeostasis along with linking the nervous system to the endocrine system. So the hypothalamus kicks into gear and it's going to activate two important systems within our body, the autonomic nervous system and the endocrine system. The autonomic nervous system is one of our divisions of the nervous system of the body. If you're curious, the nervous system divides into the peripheral and the central nervous system. The peripheral divides again into the autonomic and then the sympathetic and parasympathetic, which we'll get to in just a moment. So that autonomic nervous system, or this network of nerve fibers connected to the central nervous system and all the other organs of the body, is going to control a lot of our involuntary activities, things like our heart rate and blood pressure, those kind of very basic physiological responses. So that system kicks into gear along with the endocrine system, which is our glands located throughout the body, our pituitary, adrenal gland, the testes, and so on, which help control a lot of important activities like growth and also sexual activity. If we look at the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic pathway is what's kind of going on when we are stressed out. The sympathetic nervous system causes this feeling of arousal or fight or flight like response to occur. Our pupils will dilate, our heart's going to beat faster, digestion shuts down, which gives us that kind of butterfly in the stomach kind of feeling, right? There's a lot of very physiological changes that are caused as our system mobilizes all of our resources to bravely fight something off or have all the energy we need to run away from it. And then once the stressor is passed, our parasympathetic nervous system is the other side. It's going to be in charge of resting and digestion. It calms us down. Everything goes back to kind of the way that it was before. So we have the sympathetic piece, which is going to cause neurotransmitters like epinephrine and norepinephrine to course through our system as we respond to stress. And we also have the endocrine system piece, which is going to work through something called the HPA pathway, or the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal pathway. And when this side kicks into gear, we see hormones being released from these different glands that we saw in the image earlier. So here the pituitary and adrenal glands are going to respond to stress, causing a release of ACTH, or adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is going to trigger things like cortisol and other major stress hormones. So through all of these different physiological changes, we experience the physical sensation of stress, which is going to cause, again, our heart to beat faster, maybe our palms to sweat. It causes our body to work very, very hard. So a lot of different things happening as stress affects the body. I hope this helps to kind of clear that up for you. Stress, again, being something physical and psychological as we look at the interplay between these two different systems.